Okay, hi, how are you doing? I hope you're having a fabulous day. And today, Roseanne Reed, the Dream Inspirationalist, wants to share with you a topic that I've been finding coming up in a lot of our forums, the question of pricing. So, as a business consultant, one of the things that I do is that I help persons how to set up, structure their business. If they already have a structure set up and a system, show them ways in which they can tweak it to get even more money, more profits, and even be more effective in what they do. So, the topic that I'm going to speak on today is pricing, the issue of pricing, which this is a very major factor because of the reason that um, a lot of us who are in business, especially like myself who work from home, because you're not necessarily working from a corporate office or a business structure like, a restaurant or a movie theater or a pet shop or a department store like PriceMart or Walmart or Walgreens or Target. Or in Jamaica we have Rapid True Value, whatever it is, because you're not necessarily a big company but you are an individual. So this is for my my singlepreneurs, my mompreneurs, and these who persons who work from home. One of the issues that we have in business is pricing, because what you find happening in the marketplace is that persons have this awful tendency to not want to pay you what you're worth. In my former life, I used to be an Avon representative where I used to sell Avon products. I no longer do it anymore because we don't have it here in Jamaica anymore. But one of the issues that I faced was also this, that I found that some of my customers at the time were not willing to pay me a particular price for, say, a perfume or a piece of jewelry. But if they went to a pharmacy on the mall, they would pay that price or more for the item for cash upfront. But because me know the individual, to them, that's too much money to pay me. So they have a problem and they want to bargain down the price and say, give me a discount. That's too expensive, man, and stuff like that. But my point is this: in order to be comfortable and to set a price and to charge and to call and command that price and that dollar, you must know your worth. Okay, know your worth, know who you are. No, I am not afraid to charge for my services because I know this. I know my value and I know my worth. I know my value in corporate Jamaica, and I know my value. No, I know my value in the international marketplace. I know that what I have to offer is so different and unique that persons will be willing to pay for my service because persons want the service, and they won't be able to get this service from anybody else other than Roseanne, right? And so if you're going to want the service, then you have to be able to be willing to pay me for my creativity. And then there is no price that I can charge that it can be the value of all of the experiences that I have garnered in my life. Just to go to church for a little bit, in the Bible, or not church, just say go to the Bible. Um, persons, I don't know if you know the song that said, "You don't know what's the cost of the oil in my alabaster box." And so let's look at that for a minute, because there are certain things that it costs me to get the information that I now have, or the information that you now have and that you're now willing to share with the world for a price. And so it is this. You may come upon a situation where you're wondering, okay, do I charge $50 for an hour my time, or do I charge $100? No, it is for you to decide. Are you worth 100 or are you just $50? And if you come across clients who are not willing to pay for your service, then you must be able to acknowledge that at this point in time, this person is not ready for what it is that you have to offer, that there are persons out there who are ready for what you have to offer. No, Some persons charge $25 for an item, another person may charge $200 for an item. Now, what is the difference? It's the same product, but the fact is that the person who is charging 25 is marketing to a different set of people than the person who is charging $200. Do you understand? And one of the things that you must know is that if an item, like if something costs $200, the quality that you get for $200, generally it's a much better quality than what you get for $25. No, in some cases, don't get me wrong, in some cases persons are charging $200 and giving you something that is valued at $5, because that does happen. I've experienced that as well. But when we're coming to pricing, the most important part that I want to tell you as a business owner, as a mom working from home, as a small business owner, is to know your worth. When you know your worth, then you'll be easily able to set a price for your item, and do not devalue yourself. Okay, I remember speaking with a business consultant the other day who told me that she offered a product for $100, and after she had offered the product, persons called her back to say, how could you give away the product for $100? Because the amount of information in that product was worth $200 or $250. So, you must pay attention to you have to pay attention to market trends, yes, because you want to be viable in the marketplace, but you must also pay attention to what factors were involved in you creating that product. So, for example, if you are in craft, if you're doing jewelry making or fashion designing or something like that, and you know that this particular material that is going to take to make this garment is one of a kind, it's unique. If that item was, well, I'm speaking in US dollars because I'm speaking to the US market. If that item was $8 a yard for the fabric, and there is nowhere else that you have ever seen that fabric, then that item has to be an item that you may charge $500 to the client to make that piece. However, if it's a material that only costs $1 or $2 per yard, and it's material that's readily available, then the price for that item, this is if you are purchasing the material for the client. If it's a situation where the client brought the material to you, which is different. But in the situation where everything you're providing from scratch, the material, the accessories that you need to make the garment and everything, when it's an item that's more readily available, then you can charge a cheaper price for it. So, for example, if you're in the jewelry making business and you made some jewelry pieces from 1998, and know you can no longer get those beads from 1998, then know this: that item that you made with those beads from 1998, which those beads are no longer on the market anywhere in the world, then you know that that item will now become a unique item. It's a precious item. It's like a vintage, right? That's why you notice if you go to places that sell vintage pieces are very expensive because you can't get those items again. They are one of a kind. You can't even get the type of material that was used to make those items again, because the quality of materials that are being made now are just not of the same quality to those that we had from way back then, from how many years ago. And so if it is that you have something that is unique, that is one of a kind, that cannot be gotten anywhere else, then you have all right to charge a fair price. And when I say a fair price, I mean you charge $500 for the item and not 50 or $100 as you would for the items that you can get your pieces on a regular basis. No, that's for tangible products, right? No, if you have a tangible product that's in a niche market and you're the only person that has that product, you can charge a price for that item because you're the only person making that product. But if there's 10 million people making that product, you can't charge such a high price unless there is something uniquely different about that item. All right. Um, and I'm drawing on this from my experience. My father was a potter and he made different pieces. There were souvenir pieces, there were masterpieces, art pieces, and each piece cost different. And so, in some businesses, like where we have in generic consumerism, where we're looking at, electrical items, construction materials, doors and windows, shoes, Even shoes can carry different prices because you have designer ones and you have genuine leather and you have man-made. But generic consumer items generally carry a general price, right? So you mark individually, but do not be afraid to charge top dollar for an item which you know is unique, which you know you cannot serve to anywhere else. Now, coming to the intangible, which is the business that I am currently working in the business of lifestyle coaching and business consultancy. In the intangible market, what we have is that prices go according to your following, your name, your brand, and your worth in the marketplace. For example, um, Stephen Covey or a John Maxwell, the price that they can charge for a speaking event wouldn't be the price that, say, for example, I could charge for a speaking event because I am new to the market. I'm only in the business now for about 2 years. But um, a Stephen Covey, a Leah Kim Samaj, I was recently at a network marketing event with him, so not network marketing, at a networking event with him where they were teaching on the same thing, and it was the fact that Dr. Leah Kim Simaj can get a price, can command a price that myself or Kamal, who was with him, could not charge because of the fact that we're new to the market and we're not yet known. Okay, so where they could pay me $5,000, they can't pay Dr. Leah Kim Simaj $5,000 for a speaking engagement. You have to pay that man like 20, 30,000 US for an engage for one speaking event. So looking at that, you were looking at a price of intangibles, and intangibles comes to know this is the part where you need to know your worth, right? With tangibles, it with craft items, it depends on your creativity because how you create them may be different than how anybody else would create them. But now we're looking at the intangible. For example, a coaching service for an hour, for me to coach you for an hour. How much do I charge now? Do you charge $25 because everybody around you can only afford to pay $25? No, that doesn't make any sense because when you look at what it costs for you to meet with that client, if you have to drive to the client, especially the cost of gas or transportation to reach to the client. If you don't drive and you're doing a virtual thing like how I'm doing with a video with you now, you can do a Google Hangout or stuff like that. If you don't drive, you're doing it virtually, but then at the same time you have to factor in the cost of your time, that hour that I'm spending with you. Like, what else could I be doing in that hour? How much more money could I be making in that hour doing something else? So if I'm only charging you $25, right, and in that hour I could put out work for clients, or for myself, I could be producing something, a book or something, a movie, something that could give me, probably pay me $100 an hour. Now, can I afford to collect $25 an hour when my time based on all of the work that I do is really $100? So that's what you have to look at. And so while also there's an issue that we have where in the marketplace there's a lot of persons who are starting out in business who are not able to afford to pay, say, $1,000 for a first session, for a consultation session. But at the same time, they need the information in order to get them to the level where they need it to get. Now, all of us never started with $1 million in our pocket to start the business, and many of us did not have what we needed to start. We had to use free resources. So, for me, what I have done, I'll tell you, is that I have set up free resources, free ebooks. I have a YouTube channel, where you can go and get these videos. I share information on my pages, my business page and my friend page. And there's stuff on my website as well. So from time to time, I will share things that are free and send persons free resources so that they can see that there is some information that they can get. And I'm not the only one. There are several life coaches and business persons who have free resources that they share because we understand that there's different levels of persons. Now, why I'm saying all of this is that if you're creating a system in your business, you can't give away everything free because how are you going to make any money? right? And those who tell you that they don't have the money, you have to understand that, okay, they don't have the money now, but these are the free resources that they can take advantage of until they're able to pay for your services. And if not, they can continue engage with you and get your free resources until they can pay for it. Now, in your business, set up a system, have free resources available for those who may not be able to afford your expertise and your time, and then charge for the items that you know are a need and a demand in the market. Now, all you need to do is to find an impasse. For example, I went to a very popular commercial bank here in Jamaica, and they told me that there is a need for lifestyle coaches and business consultants, that they have a lot of funding available for small businesses, but there's nobody to coach them. And so the lady said to me, "We need persons like you. Hurry quick and bring your business card." She said, "There is only one other person in the market right now in Jamaica who I know about. There is not enough of you." And so I knew this because in doing my research when I was starting my business, I found one person. Now it's 100 US to see that person for the hour. But guess what I found? Most of the persons who needed my service could not afford $100, which is 10,000 Jamaican dollars. They could only afford probably $5,000. Some of them could not even afford 2,500. But it wouldn't make sense for me to charge something, because for me to charge 2,500 is basically gas money for me to go wherever I need to go, right? Depending on where your location is and depending on the time that I'm going to spend. Because if I charge you 2,500 Jamaican dollars, which is 25 US, the amount of work that I have to put in for what you need for that consultation is valued way more than that 25 US. So what I did was that I created an impasse, and so I set up a system where those clients would have to pay five 5,000 Jamaican dollars or $50,000 for that service, so that it was easily reachable for someone who didn't have it to be able to find it, and also at a level. Then I have the higher levels that go up, so that persons who need more and can spend more time will be able to will be willing to spend that money, right? So what I really want to say about pricing is that it's a tricky issue, very tricky, but you must know your worth and do not undercharge yourself. What I find that we do all the time is that we undercharge ourselves. If it is that you know that there is people who can't afford the service who need to get it, create free systems. Start a YouTube channel. Share videos. If you don't want to start a YouTube channel, do a blog, which is where you can write if you're somebody that like to write and type, right? Or if you like to write books, create an ebook. It's very easy. If you don't even want to create an ebook, you can go to Fiverr, you give them your idea, you can find somebody who can ghostwrite for you, who can write the idea for you. You just tell them what you want to do and they will write it and put it together in a document, and you vet it and see if it's okay or not. Okay? So saying all of this to say that pricing is tricky, but what I want you to take away from this is that, one, you must know your worth. Two, if the commodities that you have are unique, know that you have to charge a higher price than for regular generic items. If you're doing consumer items that are generic and general, then you know that you need to pay attention to what the market is charging. And also, if you want to charge a higher price, you must have something unique that's going to set your product apart from the other products that are on the market. Um, and number four, when it comes to intangibles, it also depends on your worth and your following, the experience. How many years have you been in the business? And different things will happen. Like every time you go on a TV show, every time probably you did a meeting or a session with somebody who is popular or that kind of thing, your ratings keep going up depending on the level that you are at in your business, right? And that's what causes you to be able to charge top dollar or not. And number five, lastly, your price is dependent upon you. Do not let anybody tell you that you are not valued, whatever it is that you are charging. right? There are certain factors that must be taken into place. Pay attention to the cost of everything that you're doing. Don't just look at it and say that you have the internet every day, so you don't have to factor that in. You have to factor in the internet. You have to factor in your computer. After a while, it wears down, it tears down. You have to get new software. You have to get a new computer. um, if you're going out every day doing business and speaking engagements, after a while some shoes wear down, after a while some suits wear out, after a while you need to change your suits, right? You need to take care of yourself. Whatever it costs for you to put together that intangible, bear all of that in mind and look at your current situation and look at where you want to get. It doesn't make sense that you live in a bubble and decide, okay, I'm only going to charge them $25 because that's all I can afford. Because the fact of the matter is that if that's all I can afford, at the end of the day, you still have bills that you need to pay. So you are putting out work, you're paying light, you're paying internet, you're paying somebody to help you create all of these things. Whatever it is that you're doing, it's costing you something. So it comes down to know your worth, charge your price, because there are people who are charging way more than you and giving way less value than you are, and they are still making a ton of money. Okay, so maintain your price, your value, know your worth, and know where you stand in the marketplace. If you have a product or a system where you want to offer and you're still not sure of what it is you need to do, then you can get in touch with me. Um, I'll post my website below this link where you can go to my website, go to the contact page, and send me an email message where I can help you with setting your price, because each situation is unique. This video was just generic for a variety of areas and to help persons get a better understanding. But I know that in each case you have an individual situation. So yes, Roseanne gave me some ideas, but Roseanne, I have a new orange juice on the market. I have a new product which has never been seen by anybody. How do I do it? And so while this video may have given you some information, there may be something that is still missing for you that has not yet clicked, but that can only come out in a one-on-one conversation with me. So if it is that you feel that you need more information after hearing this video, then feel free to connect with me on my website or on my business page. The website is www.befreemarketing.wix.com/rread, or you can go to my Facebook page and send me a message. It's www.facebook.com/befreeinc. That's capital BEE, capital FREEINC. Okay, take care. Bye.